record again. And we will see. Hopefully it will not add after 6 minutes. Hopefully we will be able to do a longer session. Otherwise it will be just too short. So I will just share my screen again. And sorry. Oh, come on. I'm using a Linux computer here today. It's not a Windows machine, it's a Linux machine. And this Zoom software is not very compatible with Linux. It's just crashing and then it's doing weird things and it is quite slow and maybe it's not the best option to go. Maybe I have to use something else. So we were talking about this flow development and such things. So you should not be concerned about the details that I'm doing here. Like, oh, he clicked there and then he selected this and this. And no, it's different in every software. So most probably you'll not be using console in your life at all. Like, so you'll be using a different software. Maybe you will use console, who knows? But the thing is, you can generate these kind of like plots and we can investigate a flow field in this manner, like contour plots and then line plots and then like different variations across a line, pressure variations, speed variations, and such things, right? All right, so I will just generate a different geometry, right? I will generate a different geometry. Okay, so I don't want this channel to be this long. I will make it a bit shorter. I will just say it is, for example, let's say maybe 2, right? So I shortened it a little bit. And then I will generate another rectangle, right? I will generate another rectangle, right-click geometry and then say rectangle, and I will place it somewhere here inside. And then I will subtract that rectangle from the outer one so that there will be a hole in my domain and it will be like an obstacle, right? Burada yine Enes Öztürk'ü görüyorum. Ben neden Enes Öztürk'ü görüyorum? Ben Enes Öztürk'ü değil, kendimi görmek istiyorum. Çünkü ne yaptığımı, nereye baktığımı anlamak istiyorum. Evet. I think this is better. All right. So I will put a rectangle here. So that rectangle is of width, I don't know, 0.01. Is it too small? 0.01 and then 0.01. Let's see how big it is. Oh, it's very small. So let's make it 0.04, 0.04, and then build it. Yeah, that's okay. And I will place it somewhere here. So I will just move its base point to like 0.2 and then like 0.02 or something. Yeah, almost there. 0.03 mi yapmamız lazım? Build selected. Yeah, it is at the center of the channel, a little bit far from the entrance. And then I will just come here and right-click geometry. I have Boolean partitions. I have a difference operation. So for the difference, I will just say I want to select this for objects to add and objects to subtract. Sorry, I will select the small one and I will say build selected. Yeah, the small one is gone and I have a hole there. So I created a hole and then I will just simulate flow over a channel with an obstacle in it, right? With an obstacle in it. So I will come here and then check the boundary conditions. My inlet is still here. My exit is still there. My 2 walls are there. But now I have like this 2, where is this 2? 2 is the bottom wall, 3 is the top wall, and then this 4 is this left part of the obstacle, 5 is the bottom part, and I have 6 and 7, the other. So these, by default, every boundary that you generate is given wall boundary condition, and it is correct in this case. These are walls, no slip wall boundary conditions. So I will just, yeah, that's it. I will not change anything else. My mesh, let me see. Let's generate the mesh. Oh, it gives an error. A problem occurred when building mesh feature mapped one. Failed to create map mesh for domain, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. So this domain, it says too complicated, although it is simple for console. Looks like that it is too complicated and it cannot generate a mapped mesh. Maybe it is because of this sizing that I am providing. Let me change that size and see whether it will work or not. Maybe like smaller. Nope, it is not. I mean, I have to work on it, and it is possible to make it work and create a mapped mesh, but I have to just arrange these things properly. Why is it not working? B1, build all. Nope, it's not working. So I will just not use a mapped mesh then. I will just say disable it. And then I will come here and then generate a default mesh and see what it looks like for this geometry. What's wrong? Why is it not generating any mesh? Oh, come on. What is this? Find one, build all. Whatever, I will just come here and say clear sequence. Yes, so everything there is cleared. And then I will generate a new mesh. Oh, by default, this mesh is generated. It is extremely coarse. It has only 71 elements. Let's clear this message part. It's not enough. We have these predefined mesh selections like fine, finer, extra fine, coarse, coarser, extra coarse. The normal default mesh is like the one you see here. If I generate a finer one, I see, come on, generate it. Whatever, I will go with the custom sizing and I will say 0.01 and then oh, this is a mesh that these settings generate. It is not like uh, fine enough, I guess. I will make it a bit smaller, build all triangular elements. I will go with that one and maybe even smaller than this. Then build all. I'm playing with the size parameters. I'm trying to generate a mesh. Again, like before, I'm sorry, I forgot to put it too. I'm not like being too picky with the mesh, although mesh is very critical and it affects accuracy. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm not trying to like make it the best mesh possible, right? So this is a fine mesh with lots of rectangles. Maybe it is like too fine, and this is not a quadrilateral mesh. Unlike the previous one, this is like a triangular mesh. And let's just solve this, right? Study one and then compute the solution. So we have like almost 80,000 elements, triangular elements, and it is taking some time, a couple of maybe tens of seconds. Oh no, it is fast. I'm looking at this progress bar. We have the convergence plot. Oh, it is oscillating, doing ups and downs. This is a harder problem. So we have an obstacle and the obstacle has like some sharp corners. So there will be maybe flow separations, who knows? And maybe at the back of the solver, looks like that this solution is kind of diverging. It's like struggling a lot to converge. I'm expecting these errors to stabilize and they go down and like become smaller than the default tolerance value, but it's not happening. Maybe just some unsteadiness going on and I'm trying to solve a steady problem or I don't know, something like that, right? So I think I will kill this solution and I will try something. So I killed it, cancel the computation. I will come here and then I will say, let's just reduce the inlet speed and make it like a lower speed, like 0.005. So a lower speed, a lower Reynolds number almost always means an easier to calculate flow, right? And then I will come here to study one and then compute it again. See whether that helps or not. Your internet connection is unstable, yazıyor. What does that even mean? Why is it unstable? My solution here is not stable, but my internet connection is also not stable. So this convergence plot also looks a bit not good, but let's see whether it will be able to finish it or not. All right. Tabii rastgele bir obstacle'ı rastgele büyüklükte, rastgele bir yere place ettik. Çok fazla düşünmeden yaptık bunu. Belki inlet'e çok yakın koyduk. Belki çok büyük bir obstacle seçtik. Çok büyük bir obstacle seçince aşağıda yukarıda çok az yer kaldı. Bu az yerden flow geçerken çok fazla hızlandı ve daha zorlaştı vesaire vesaire vesaire. Onun için yani şu anda bir şeyi demonstre etmek için, farklı bir flow field oluşturmak için hızlıca bir deneme yapmaya çalıştık ama hesapsız kitapsız gittiğimiz için yani duvara toslamamız da mümkün. So again, looks like that this solution is struggling to converge. So it is not like finishing and it is just the errors are oscillating. Ups and downs are here. And I will again maybe kill it. And I will just try something else. I will come here and I will say, maybe I will just introduce, or I will first try to make this rectangle smaller. 0.04, 0.04'tü. Daha küçük bir obstacle koyalım. 0.02, 0.02 olsun. Galiba bunu da 0.04 yaparsam. So this is another rectangle now here, right? So this is again close to the entrance. And then it is a smaller one. It is like blocking the flow less, and it will be maybe an easier to calculate flow, right? And then the difference is calculated. So yeah, it is. Let's generate again a mesh, build all. So a similar rectangle, triangular mesh will be generated, I believe. Yeah, it is quite fine. And maybe I don't need this fine. Usually on the boundaries, we don't use unstructured mesh like this. We use structured boundary layer mesh like we did before. But here I'm not trying to pay attention to those details, and most probably I'm not getting a converged solution due to that. Because, there will be a flow approaching to this block and then it will just maybe separate from here. Maybe it will just go tangent to this surface. I don't know, but we need nice, fine little elements there to calculate all those sharp variations. But here I'm using rather large elements to make it a quick solution. But of course, we have to be careful. I mean, my solution is not
Hocam,
converging
I have a
maybe because
question.
of that. What was that? Somebody said
Hocam,
something.
it's me. Are we having such a hard time because the square has a sharp corner?
Yeah, most
Is that the
probably.
reason?
Bu da çalışmazsa onu deneyecektim. Buraya bir square değil bir circle koyacaktım. O zaman daha
Maybe we
smooth bir
can
flow.
round the corners somehow.
What's that?
Maybe we can round the corners somehow at like
Yeah, yeah.
at a radius.
That was my next plan. If this is not working, bu da çözülebilir. It is possible to solve this one also. But we have to generate a proper mesh, not like an arbitrary one I'm doing here, right? So we have to be
Okay.
careful. If you try to go really, really fast, it may not be possible to get a nice converged solution. So I'm not saying that this is an like impossible to solve problem. Obviously, we can solve it, but maybe not with this mesh, maybe not with these settings. A circular obstacle would be easier to handle because like it's smoother and then everything will be easier that way. But let me try this one. I generated the mesh. Let's just try to compute the solution. And if that doesn't help, I will just, like your friend suggested, I will round the corners and then see what it gives. So let's see this convergence plot. Oh, this one is like converging, not, oh yeah, it just finished the solution in 12 seconds. So in CFD, depending on your selections, depending on your mesh, depending on the Reynolds number, other things, the geometry, the shape, it's not always possible to get a solution. Sometimes the solution just doesn't converge to some meaningful final result. It just blows up, or it just oscillates and oscillates and oscillates and oscillates, and the errors do not drop. And that happened. So we just demonstrated it, right? Most probably it was a mesh issue. Most probably I needed to create a more careful mesh, or maybe something else, but most probably mesh. But this one converged. I reduced the size of the obstacle, so it is blocking the flow less. And then I am interested in, for example, the pressure field. So this is the pressure field. Let's see. Oops, interesting. Yeah. So let's see the full picture first. So this is my channel, right? So here, close to the exit, nothing interesting is happening. This is like fully developed flow, almost kind of linear pressure drop. And then we have an interesting thing going on at the around the object. So we have a stagnation streamline here hitting to the center of the front surface of the block, my little square. And then here is creating maximum pressure. See, we have maximum pressure here. So we have a maximum pressure here at the stagnation point. And then as it just turns these corners, pressure decreases and blah, blah, blah. So it speeds up here. So the flow enters with a certain constant speed. Neydi speed bakalım inlette. So the speed was 0.005. I changed that one also. 0.005 meters per second. So it's like 5 millimeter per second. A very slow flow. I wanted it to be laminar. That's why I selected low. 0.005, right? And then that 0.005 speed, let's go back to the pressure contour, increases as the flow goes over these corners. So as it speeds up, its pressure drops. And then here I have the minimum pressure and minimum pressure locations, right? And then at the backside, pressure is almost constant, right? So if I just see the streamlines, so the streamlines are like this. So we have a wake region, right? We have a wake region. So in this biz kaçıncı chapter'dayız 306'da? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we are in the third chapter, external flow chapter. There we are studying bu hafta tabii ders yapmadık. Ders yapmadığımız için chapter'ı bitiremedik. Normalde bitirecektik. We were studying like boundary layers, boundary layer separation and such things. We haven't studied separation thing yet, but this flow is separated. So it is not possible for this flow, the streamlines continue like on this edge and then come back and totally fill this back part. No, it's not possible. With these very sharp corners, it's just not possible. And then right at the leading two corners, we have flow separation. And we have flow here, but we cannot just see it in these default settings. Bunları değiştirirsem herhalde farklı bir şey bulabilirim. Maybe uniform density, I don't know. I'm not that familiar with these settings, but I have to decrease this distance. I'm trying to generate a different kind of, oh, almost there. I will just say 0.001, maybe too much. Oh, I entered a very small value, I believe. And it freezed. Oh, come on, console, do not crash. Aceleyle buraya bir sayı gireyim dedim. 10 katı düşürdüm. Separating distance çok çok çok fazla streamline koymaya çalışıyor büyük ihtimalle şu anda. Ve acı çekiyor. Come on, yapamıyorsan yapamıyorum de. Nope, it's not responding. Konsole'u göç ettik. Oh, it did something. No, not. No. Come on. Show me some streamlines. Rastgele sayılar girmemek lazım. Hadi ya. No, it's not responding. Hiç save ettik mi bu problemimiz? Sanki hiç save etmedik. So maybe we totally lost it. I'm not sure. All right. Any questions? We have 8 students. We started with 16 and we lost half of it.
Hocam oradaki flow separation mı?
Bu mu? Yeah, this is a separating flow like the wake region, oh yeah, işte bunu yapmaya çalışıyordu garibim. So it did not crash. So this is a nice plot, but it's too much, right? So I wanted to see these extra streamlines. And for that, I changed some settings here and put a very small number here. And then it just really had a hard time to give me this plot. But yeah, we have a long wake region. So if this is 1 unit length for the square, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like square lengths of separation region. And then we have a circulation here and we have symmetry, of course. This circulates in the counterclockwise direction and this circulates in the clockwise direction. So we have a nice separation here, flow separation, right?
Hala laminar flow değil mi?
Yeah, it is laminar flow. It is laminar flow. I mean, something is circulating and rotating doesn't mean turbulent flow. So we at the very beginning, when we start console, when we set up the project, we selected laminar flow and we cannot do any turbulence here. So we have to select at the beginning turbulent flow to do turbulent flow simulations. But this is nice, right? So this is circulations, flow separation and such things. So we can calculate the drag force on this thing. So how much force the fluid is exerting on this obstacle, right? We can calculate the pressure drag, we can calculate the viscous drag, and then we can, I don't know, we can just do different things. So we looked at, neye bakmıştık biz? Pressure control'a bakmıştık. Şuna bakalım. Hızlara bakalım. So what is this? Oh, interesting, right? So this is called arrow surface, whatever it is. So it just at some certain selected locations, it shows us the velocity profiles. So as you see in the wake region, we have slowing down, but then it just again builds up and it becomes again kind of fully developed. But it takes some time for that, right? So it is kind of trying to be fully developed, but this is what the velocity field roughly looks like. Maybe if I just X grid points, maybe I will just say 40. Gene crash ettirmeyelim. Oh yeah, it's not. So something like this. So we have, so in the wake region, we do not have fast flow, we have slow flow. That's why we do not see any arrows there. The arrows are there, but they are very, very small. See, we have very little arrows there. So the arrow size is proportional to the speed there. If the arrow is long, it's like higher speed flow. So we have arrows also here, but they are kind of really little, minimum, right? So we can do lots of interesting calculations here. So let me just show you the centerline pressure variation. It will be interesting, right? It will just rise up and be maximum here, and then I don't know what will be in the wake region. So let's see. Let me just come to this center line, and then I think my channel's length was 3. 3'e mi düşürmüştüm? Öyle bir şey yapmıştım. Sonra buraya geleyim. Line graph 1 ve center line'da. Yeah, this is the pressure variation on the center line, right? So this is the entrance, and from the entrance it just rises up, but initially it drops because, so initially, right after the entrance, the effect of the square block is not felt yet. So it's like developing flow in a channel, right? And the pressure drops, just like there is no obstacle. But then at some point, the flow says, oh my God, there's an obstacle here. So I have to slow down. And it slows down. And in the meantime, the pressure rises and rises and rises. And this is the front stagnation point. And then there's a little gap here because we don't have flow there because there's the square obstacle there. And this is the back stagnation point, rear side stagnation point. And then this is happening there. And we have fully developed flow also here, right? But then we have interesting variations. Interesting variations. Ne oldu bu? Bize şu kadar 10 dakikan kaldı, 5 dakikan kaldı demiyor artık. Öyle bir limitimiz yok mu bizim? Kandırıyor mu bizi? Whatever. If it ends up abruptly suddenly, it's because that of time limit, and then I will start it again. So we have like 20 more minutes. 2 saatlik bir tutorial yapalım demiştik. 2 saatimiz neredeyse doldu. Ufak bir şey daha yapalım. Deneyebileceğimiz bir sürü şey var tabii bu noktada. We can change like the shape of the obstacle, make it a circle, make it an airfoil, put lots of obstacles like one after the other and after the other, another one, a third one, a fourth one. Like, I mean, we can do whatever we want. I want to do something different. I want to do, I was planning lots of things for these 2 hours. I prepared many, many different ones, but I wasn't able to just go that fast, right? Talking and doing these things at the same time, just it slows it down. I don't know how much you can follow, and I don't know, maybe you will watch these recorded things later, and then maybe you will try to do these by yourself. I will just get rid of this rectangle, right? I will just get rid of this second rectangle. I will delete it, right? And then I will just do something like this. I will come here to geometry and then partition edges. I will just, whatever, I will just do. I don't need this difference. That's why it is complaining. So this difference is not necessary anymore. Delete. Yes, I'm sure. And then I will just come here, say partition edges, and then I will just partition this lower edge into a couple of parts so that I can generate a second entrance. So it will be like a main flow coming from here and then a second flow coming here, and then they mix up, right? So I will generate, I will divide this line couple of, so I will put one point here and I will select, I will just duplicate this. I'm trying to divide it into a couple of parts. I don't know the fastest way to do that, but I will just do it like I'm doing here. I will select this one and I will just divide it again. Maybe 9.5 and build selected. Yeah, I created a little part here which I can specify as an inlet boundary, right? This will still be wall, this will still be wall, and this is my second inlet, this is my first inlet, and I will just come here, laminar flow, right click, and then say inlet, right? That is my second inlet. For it, I will select this. And yeah, it says your meeting will end in 10 minutes. Okay, everything will end in 10 minutes. We will not do any other session. It's enough for today. And depending on the feedback you can give to me, it's helpful, it's fun, it's not helpful, do this, do that. We can do a second one, or maybe we won't do a second one, but it's up to you, right? So what was the speed at the first inlet? 0.005. For the second inlet, let's say 0. I don't know, 0.00 1 maybe, a lower speed, right? So this is the main inlet, this is the second inlet, two streams are coming and then they are just mixing. Buraya böyle bir tane daha channel çizebilirdik. It is possible to draw a second channel here and then specify the inlet there. So it comes and this comes and they hit and mix. But I want to do it this way, simple. And then what is the mesh? Let's have a look at the mesh. Let's generate it. And the mesh is, come on, show me a mesh. Oh, very, very fine mesh. Very, very fine. That's okay. Be it fine. My solutions are fast. And then I will just say compute. So let's see whether it will be a converging solution or what. We will see. So let's see the convergence plot. Yeah, it's nice and dropping. I think everything is fine. We will get a nice solution. Another thing is a converged solution does not necessarily mean a correct solution. So a solution may converge, but it may converge to something wrong, maybe due to your poor mesh, improper mesh, maybe due to your other settings, right? So maybe the flow is turbulent and you're solving it as laminar. Maybe it is unsteady, but you're solving it as steady, this and that. So there can be lots of modeling issues and problems. So we have a flow like this. So it is not that even. So we have a slowing down at the bottom. Let's see the streamlines. They will give us a nice picture. Oh, this slowed down extremely. Why is that so? Streamline'larda şey yapmıştık değil mi? Oh my God. It got freeze again. Streamline'larda sıkıntı vardı değil mi? Sorry for that, my mistake. It's trying to show that very like crowded streamline plot, very fine detailed streamline plot. Once again, I'm sorry for that. I changed that number and then it's killing us now. We have to wait for like a bit. Oh, there is a progress bar for that also. Streamline calculations. Bu flow field'da streamline'ın nasıl calculate edildiği hakkında gevezelik edelim o zaman. Ne yapıyor mesela? Diyorum ki ben inlet'ten streamline'ları release et diyorum. Inlet'ten streamline'ları release ediyor ve bana bir çizgi çiziyor, bir sürü çizgi çiziyor. O çizgileri numerical integration'la yapıyor aslında. Mesela inlet'te benim bir speed'im var. O speed'le kendisi bir time step size seçiyor, bir delta t, diyor ki bu nokta işte 0,001 saniye sonra şu noktaya gelir. Sonra o nokta, orada farklı bir hız var artık. Artık inlet'te değilim. Flow field'in içine girdim. Oradan 0,001 saniye sonra tekrar o fluid particle'ın nereye gideceğini buluyor. Sonra oradan bir daha ve böyle ta exit'e gidene kadar ve benim belki onlarca, yüzlerce streamline'ım var. Bütün bu streamline'ları discrete bir şekilde hesaplıyor. Ama sonra bir sürü nokta olduğu için çizdiğinde ben onu continuous bir line olarak görüyorum. Oh my God. This is like fine art, right? Lots of things. The first thing I will just reduce this. First thing is I will just go back to unselected boundaries and I will just say, come on, don't do that. Oh yeah, this is much better. I will also do this. I will enable this and I will say also release from here 1 and 4 and then plot. Yep, this kind of a flow. Alttaki hızı çok az seçmişiz. So this velocity here is 5 times less than this one. Küçük olsun dedim ama fazla küçük olmuş. So they are kind of mixing but not that well. This could be, for example, a heat transfer application. Maybe we have cold water coming in and hot water coming in and they mix up. Or maybe this is water and this is some other thing, oil, whatever, and they mix up or whatever, right? So this is not a very good mixing here. It's laminar flow. It won't be a very effective mixing anyway because turbulent flows mix a lot and laminar flows do not. But this is kind of a variation like this. Let's see the pressure contours and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, we have interesting pressure contours. So buradan böyle bir akış geliyor. A streamline is coming like this and then this is the like start of the bottom entrance and then it just hits to that vertical flow. So there is a right going flow and then there is a upgoing flow and then they hit each other, boom. And then we are creating pressure gradients. And a similar thing also happening here. We have this kind of flow and then we have a little bit of maybe circulation here, I don't know. So we have interesting pressure variations. Do we have an analytical solution for this one? Obviously, no. Nobody knows an analytical solution for this flow. That doesn't exist. Is this correct? I don't know. I have to like do it carefully. Maybe I have to use a couple of different meshes. I have to be careful in every step. When you do a quick solution like this, you can generate these nice looking like contour plots, colorful plots, but they can be wrong. They can be wrong. So in order to make sure that they are correct, you have to really be careful at every step, not like we're doing it today, right? All right. I think I will just stop the share at this point and then say thank you to all. I have like 7 or 6 students remaining. And if you have any like final questions or feedback, go ahead. And if not, we will finish it here. And I will just share these recordings with you in some way. And then if you want a second, like a continuation of this thing, you can just let me know and we can do something. I was planning to do some external flow solutions, some pipe flow solutions, like piping systems. I prepared those kind of problems, but like I said, time just went by very quickly and I just couldn't do those. Evet, teşekkürler arkadaşlar. Varsa söyleyecek bir şey, 2,5 dakikamız kalmış bu session'ın bitmesine. Buyurun, yoksa burada bitirelim.
İkinci bir ders güzel olur bence.
Nasıl?
Yapalım. İkinci ders bence güzel olur. Yapalım
Evet,
bence.
yapabiliriz. Yani katılım çok yok. Yani sonuçta biz 160 kişilik 4 section'ız ve sadece 7 kişi, yani çok çok az bir katılım var. Ama bir sürü insan recordingleri sonra izleyeceğiz diye katılmamış da olabilir. Bilemeyiz. Onun için yapabiliriz ikincisini. Benim hazırlıklarım var yani. Benim için zaman bulmamız lazım. Ders saatinde yaptık tabii şimdi. Şimdi hafta sonunda falan bir zaman yapmamız gerekiyor. Bir yere sıkıştırabiliriz. Gelen gelir, gelmeyen sonra dinler. Evet, tekrar teşekkür ediyorum. Burada bitiriyoruz. Görüşmek üzere. Hepinize iyi tatiller, iyi bayramlar.
Söz hocam. İyi günler.
Size de hocam iyi günler.